Hello, and welcome to After the Epilogue, a book podcast. From our yearly reading wrap-ups to our opinions on popular books, we are centered around anything and everything book-related. So if you're a reader like us, make sure to stay tuned. We are your hosts.
I'm Maddie.
And I'm Maya, and today we will be talking about Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston.
Just as a little heads up to our audience, the first half of today's episode will not contain any spoilers, just in case you haven't read the book yet. We will say warning before going into book spoilers. Red, White, and Royal Blue is an LGBTQ plus rom-com book about Alex, the first son of the United States, a hilarious, politically invested, raging bisexual, and Henry, who is the Prince of England, who lives a double life, one as a heartthrob and the other as a closeted, sad, gay poet. Wow. They struggle with a relationship that could upend two nations and derail Alex's mother's presidential campaign.
Yeah, that was a good summary. Anyway. What would you rate the book?
It was really, really good. And the first time, immediately after finishing the book, I was like, oh, 5 stars.
Yeah.
5 stars.
Yeah.
And then I kind of sat on it. I read the reviews. People brought up okay points.
They were pretty good. We'll talk about them. We're talking about the points at the end.
Yeah.
To avoid spoilers in the beginning.
Overall, I think I gave it a 3 stars at the end, which is, I know. I really, really enjoyed it, though. It was really good. It's just, I'm trying to make my scale a little unbiased, and so 3 stars it is. What about you?
I think I gave it 4 or 5 stars. I think I gave it 5 in the end. I don't remember. Yeah, on my Goodreads, I think it has 5 stars.
Uh-huh.
But on a scale of 100, it'd be a 92 with a ton of extra credit because there's really good representation. It was the first time I saw a half Mexican main character.
Yeah.
Lot of good representation that I could see myself in. And then it was a lot of fluff.
Yeah.
And I enjoy fluff. The book I had read before this was Song of Achilles, which was very sad, so I needed it.
It was a good picker-upper, I'll give it that.
Yeah. But it's not on the same writing level as Song of Achilles.
Yeah. It's not as well written, so there's kind of this huge contrast when talking about the 2 books, especially one after the other.
Yeah.
But the reason I rated it high was because of the representation and how happy it made me, which is really what you should rate a book on.
Mm-hmm. The emotion at the end, and I think that's why I ended up giving it 5 stars, because the initial reaction from the ending, from the whole story, it made me feel a lot of things. It made me feel very happy. Great book. Got some good emotion out of it. And that was what it was supposed to do.
Yeah,
and it did what it was supposed to do. And I think if, as I just did, compare it to the Song of Achilles, they were both told first person by 2 very different main characters.
Yeah. And
the authors did very good about getting into the mindset of the character.
Yeah, I agree. Like we were talking about, the representation was probably one of the best I've seen ever.
Yeah.
Because not only did they include characters of color and sexualities and I'm trying to think any other representation.
Religion.
Yes, religion. But they also kind of represented them well. People will just throw in characters that are diverse just to have that diversity. But the way they wrote the character was very well, and it made sense.
And the personal struggles that the characters deal with.
Yes.
Even
mental illness representation.
Mental illness. The drug addiction.
Yeah.
There were a lot of good points, and they were executed well. So that is why we rate it high.
I put it down a little bit because I don't understand politics that well, and they were talking about it a lot.
There was a lot of politics.
The gerrymandering part, which was a very far stretch for me, but I understood it. But still, most of the politics I didn't really understand, and I can't really get into that as much as I can.
Yeah.
With just a regular love story. And while I do enjoy the politics aspect of it, I do not think it's very realistic. at our point in time.
Hey, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
So getting into spoilers, what was
Click
your
off
favorite?
if you haven't read.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Warning. Hashtag spoilers.
Mm-hmm.
What was your favorite scene?
My favorite scene, oh my god, I forgot about this. My favorite scene, there's this scene where Alex and Henry just finished doing something, okay? And their bodyguard comes knocking on the door. Whose bodyguard?
It's Zara. Is Zara a bodyguard? She's like the assistant.
I don't remember.
She's
okay, we've read it a while ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Zara comes knocking at the door and she's like, open up. If you don't open up, I'm opening the door. I don't care if you're naked.
You have a meeting you need to go to.
Yes. And so Alex is freaking out. He's like, oh my god, you gotta hide because nobody knows they're in this relationship yet. And so Henry, as fitting as it is, he hides in the closet. And so he's like half naked and he's rolling into the closet. And then Zara comes busting in. And she's
a lot
like,
of irony there.
yes. She comes in and then she was like, this room is a mess. What happened? I know you had someone in here. You had a girl, didn't you? And then Henry comes rolling out of the closet, and because he was like coming out of the closet. It was so ironic and it made me laugh so hard.
Yeah, it's funny.
And I don't know. I really liked that scene. Mm-hmm. It's cute too.
Yeah.
Because they weren't really like sad about it, as they were just embarrassed.
Yeah.
They were like, hey, I'm naked. Okay, what was your favorite scene?
Probably the karaoke scene, where all of the little friends went to karaoke and had a good time.
That was so cute, too. Mm-hmm. It was kind of one of the first times that they just got to relax.
Yeah, and you see, like, Henry loosen up.
Yeah.
And, yeah. Beginning of their relationship, it was good. It was cute. Favorite characters?
Oh, God. Okay, this is very hard, but my favorite character was Alex.
Yeah.
I think it was just because, not just because, but I think a main part of it was he was kind of the narrator. It was in his view, so you kind of got to understand him more than the other characters, which, I don't know, it's basic, but he was very relatable, and he made me giggle, like, a lot. He was a funny narrator, and even when he was sad, he could make you kind of, like, self-deprecatingly laugh.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could relate to him a lot.
Yeah, he was very funny. Again, for like one of the first bicultural characters I have seen. Yeah. Also, big Texan. I'm a big Texan. Very relatable, and I enjoyed the representation. So, Alex, number one. But also, there was some bias because he did narrate it. So we hear a lot from him, but
I feel like the main character is usually just my favorite character.
Yeah. Well, yeah. In books like these, yeah.
Yeah.
In romance novels, it's hard to choose a main character that isn't one of the main two.
That's true. Especially the main two. If you're in the main two and you're not choosing them, like...
Yeah.
Anyways, okay.
Quick character opinions.
Henry is he's so, like, cute. I don't know how else to describe him.
He's an anxious little poet. He's
just, like, he reminds me a lot of the Dead Poets Society, the movie. I know you haven't watched it.
Yeah,
but, he likes writing, and I kind of related to him with, like, Wilhelm from Young Royals and Charlie from the Heartstopper universe, because they kind of give off the same... Oh, and Neil from...
Dead Poets Society.
Yeah, Dead Poets Society. Because they kind of give off the same vibe. They're just these, like, heartthrob, very, like, anxious and brooding, but also these cutesy and can be happy characters. And it kind of just depends what coin they got flipped.
Yeah.
Or what side of the coin they flipped on, I guess.
Yeah. Pez. He was obsessed with June. That Obviously. Was a story. He was the comedic relief. So, and he did that well.
He did.
We got swaggy kimonos out of him, charity funds, and he had a big personality. Honestly, I vibe with Pez. I enjoyed the vibes. Good vibes. Was,
if it wasn't for my top two, I feel like my third choice would be Pez.
Yeah. That's, yeah.
Yes.
I don't know who mine would be, but I really did enjoy Pez. He was funny. I like funny.
Me too.
And he was a really good friend to see Henry around.
He was, like we're talking about, but Luna, we haven't talked about him yet, but Luna was kind of Alex's role model, especially in the political world. And Pez was definitely Henry's role model as he played this outgoing and open and kind and charitable person.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Raphael Luna.
Yeah.
He's like the anti-hero.
Anti-hero by Taylor Swift.
Anti-hero by Taylor Swift. Do you forgive him for half betraying Alex?
I feel like it was his thing. Like, there was no one to go, well, yes, he did betray Alex, but there was no one to be like, you had no right, because he had every right.
Yeah.
With his entire arc with...
backstory and...
What's the antagonist?
Is it Richards? It's not Richards. It's something with an R.
We'll find it. But that person, he had this arc against him, becoming like this person who didn't want to talk and be open about what had happened to him, and then finally being able to destroy him without putting himself in an uncomfortable position, which I feel like was very important to see, that victims especially have the choice and should have the choice of whether or not to go out with it. So I feel like he played a very good representation of a character, and I did forgive him at the end, even though I was really, really mad at him.
It is Richards.
Richards. Yeah. Even though I was really mad at him when he betrayed Alex and kind of ignored him when he was obviously going through something.
Alex had this role model.
Yeah.
And it was Raphael Luna, because I think a scene that hit me the most was he was talking, I don't remember who he was talking to. Maybe he was just narrating the book. But he was talking about how his mom and his dad were, like, these great politicians.
Yeah.
And, like, that was his goal. Politics were his goal. And he might not ever be that, but he saw Raphael Luna sleeping on his desk.
Yeah.
With these goals to make a positive change. And Alex was able to see himself in that and be like, oh, I may not be able to be as great as my parents, but I can be that. And then he backstabbed him, and I mean, temporarily, and like Alex didn't know the reasoning. But I mean, I almost felt that hurt with Alex, because it was like, this is the one person you could see yourself in. It was the representation that he needed to see, and then to feel that betrayal, that hurt. And so I had a hard time forgiving him, but I was like, it was all justified.
Yeah, for sure.
He had the right idea, and he did the right thing. But it was hard. That hurt.
Yeah. And then there's Bee, obviously, Henry's
Bee,
sister.
Powder Princess.
She's the one with the drug addiction. I really liked her because she played this kind of guardian for Henry.
Yes.
And she was a very, very likable character.
Yes. And then we see at the end, well, not at the end, but, like, when everything's leaked, she's the one who, like, goes to Henry's mom and gets her on board and gets her out of her, like, you need to be a mom now in this moment.
She was very strong.
Yes.
She was kind of able to play Henry's mom while she was off board. And I feel like she definitely had that older sister syndrome.
Yeah. A lot of pressure. All of them had a lot of pressure on them.
Which is insane.
The royals.
I think it's so crazy to think, because there's so many deep messages and roles being played in this book, and somehow they made it into a rom-com that's genuinely happy and fluffy and enjoyable.
There's a lot of stuff being touched on.
Yeah. When you think about it, you're like, oh my god, what?
Yeah.
But they pulled it off somehow.
And then in this wonderful version, the collector's edition, there's an extra chapter from Henry's perspective. And in that we find out Bee gets married, but it never says who.
Yeah, they're just kind of like,
I would like to know.
Bee got
I'm
married.
invested.
I want to know too. I don't understand maybe the series is coming out. Maybe we'll see Bee's love interest and kind of like how they do with other books where they have two different parts of the story.
Yeah.
Like Tao and Elle. We got to see more into Elle's life.
Yeah. Oh. And then June, Alex's sister.
I also really like June.
I love June.
Such likable characters.
There are a lot of likable characters. I think she was always she was also a really great sister.
Yeah.
And protective to Alex to the extent that, like, she moved to Washington, D.C. for him. And then she would invite him to eat. And then he just wouldn't go.
Yeah.
And that hurt. I feel bad for her.
I felt really bad for her.
Yeah. And then, like, she had this big journalism dream.
Oh,
and
yeah.
she couldn't do it because too biased, which
sucks.
Yeah.
Aww.
So sad.
But she was in love with Nora.
Also revealed.
Yeah, in the bonus chapter, they have their relationship, which is so cute. They're my favorite, like, relationship. I love Alex and Henry, but I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They had so much tension throughout the book, and I was like, when is this gonna happen?
Yeah, they were cute.
They were really cute.
Yeah. And then she knows Alex better than he knows himself. I feel everybody knows Alex better than he knows himself.
He was like, wait, I'm gay?
I like men. That whole magazine thing where, like, she knew a lot. I mean, it was her magazine.
Why? I don't understand the He was able to look at Henry's face, touch his hair so much where it left his fingerprints behind, and he still was like, wow, I'm attracted to this man?
Yeah. Like, this is years ago.
Yes.
Like, it was just like, okay. Anyway.
Wake up.
Yeah. And then June also wrote the acceptance speech for Ellen, President Ellen.
Alex's mom.
Yeah. Ellen Claremont. And then she, like,
too.
refused to write the losing speech, which I thought was kind of, okay, go off.
Okay, girl.
Optimist. Love
and then
her. I mean,
Nora.
I love Nora. She's
too.
very chaotic. Alex's ex. She's smart, nerdy, calculator, photographic memory.
Yeah.
Tells it as it is.
I also like, even though she was, like, this very smart person, you don't get these, like, super, oh, everybody hates you because you're smart.
Yeah.
She wasn't, like, most times...
She had a personality.
Most time when there's a smart character, that is their entire personality. But Nora was also able to be this person who was able to support Alex and she was funny.
Yes.
You know?
I love Nora. I really do love Nora. And then she was the first person Alex came out to, besides Henry. But, like...
Whoa, I hope so.
So true. So you see their relationship.
Yeah.
And I love them as friends.
Me too.
One of my favorite friendship duos.
I do kind of want to see how they were as, like, in a relationship. Not because I think they were a good relationship. Like, I'm sure, I know it wasn't toxic or anything.
Yeah.
But I just want to see, they were so close that they decided they should have a relationship. And I want to see what they thought and what kind of pushed them in. Because I have a very big feeling it was the pressure from the press. But we kind of never really see that.
Yeah. Also, they are both, like, chaotic, fun people.
They are very
and that would
chaotic.
Yeah. Honestly, I would like to see any of their, like, friendship even. Like, just more of them together. Yeah. In any sense. And then Nora is the one who Raphael Luna sends all of the, like, who leaked it information to. And she's a genius who
stays up forever to decrypt the message. And she's kind of our hero.
Yeah.
Luna's our anti-hero, but we got Nora as our actual hero.
Brings it all home.
Oh, yeah.
Figures it out. Icon! And then the parents, they're all very supportive, which was really nice to see.
Yeah.
We see President Claremont with her PowerPoint.
Oh my god.
Which are love.
Those titles were so funny.
It would be mortifying to be Alex and be given.
Yes. Can you imagine just, like, coming out to your parent and being like, just greeted with this slideshow, and it was like, exploring my sexuality.
But why does it have to be
with the Prince of England? Like, I would be terrified. I would be shaking.
Yeah.
And he was mortified.
Yeah. But you also see that parent over president mindset when she, like, clears the room and makes it all about, like, her and her son. And prioritizes their relationship over the press. And I think that was really important to see.
It was.
And then we have Princess Catherine, who has been grieving for, like, years over her husband's death. And I would love to see their love story because they were kind of in a similar situation where it wasn't accepted by, like, her parents.
That would be a really good prequel.
Yeah.
They need to get on that.
Please. Please, Casey. Yeah, because she really loved this man. And then I think when B came to her and was like, hey, you gotta take the mom role here. You have to do good for your son. She saw her relationship in Henry and Alex's, and then she really advocated for them to be able to love each other and stay in a relationship, and advocated for Alex to become an official royal suitor.
Aww.
So, I enjoyed the supportive parents.
Yeah.
And Oscar Diaz was also supportive.
Oh, I forgot about him.
Yeah. We don't see much of him, but we do see him at his house.
Yeah.
They went to the house.
There isn't a lot of him, but his mom and his dad, Alex's mom and dad, have very clashing personalities, which I think is cool to see Alex as kind of a mix of them both.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then we can assume that Alex's dad would be supportive. It seemed that they were close.
He was supportive.
Because he was like, I think he knew.
He was like, no, because they had that one scene at the barbecue, and Alex was barbecuing.
I meant Henry's dad.
Oh.
That's where, I messed up.
Did you say Alex's dad?
I don't know. Probably.
Sorry, I just assumed. Henry's
dad
is dead.
Yes. Alex's dad was supportive. Henry's dad, I believe, would have been supportive because I feel they were close.
Yes, I feel like he would have been.
Also, like Henry says, like, I think he knew, but obviously he died, so.
That's so sad.
Yeah.
Oh, he never got to come out to him. Okay, sorry, that's just hitting. So, I think we can all agree the story is overall great.
Yes.
Let's talk about some crucial parts.
Yes. So, crucial parts of the story. So then first meeting at the Olympics.
Oh, and then Henry was like, I hate you.
That is not. No, he's
Henry's
like, get
rude.
this kid away from me.
He turns to his bodyguard, Shan?
Good question.
I don't know.
I read it as Sean.
He turns to his bodyguard and he goes, you need to get this dude away from me because he cannot hold back his love for him.
But Alex doesn't know that, and he thinks he's being rude, so they start this little enemies arc. Also, they're always being compared in the media, and that negatively affects Alex.
For sure.
So, yeah. And then Alex's obliviousness with the magazine that we've already talked about.
Yeah.
Like, how did you not ever... Whatever.
And then there's the first few chapters when they finally kind of get together. Not get together.
Well, they take down a cake. A really expensive cake.
Yes.
And because they were arguing.
And they were a little drunk.
Yeah. And then they take down this cake.
And it's everywhere.
It is everywhere. And then the press is like, oh, these two, problematic.
And it's everywhere. The press.
Yeah, that was good, yeah. And then, so basically, they have to be friends.
They have to
fake a friendship.
Yes.
And that's the start of it all.
It is, and it's so good. It's amazing.
I think...
Their chemistry from the start.
Mm-hmm, yeah. I think my favorite... There's the moment where there's, like, the gun threat, and then they're, like, in this, like, closet-type room.
And they finally bond for the first time.
Yeah. And then my favorite moment from that whole, like, little quick London trip was the midnight snack, where he's, like, going to get ice cream from Alex's guest fridge, and they have a little conversation.
It's a cute scene.
It is a cute scene.
And then obviously the first kiss
in the garden at the White House.
Henry,
is it at the White House?
Yeah, because it's their party.
Yeah.
Alex is all over everyone, kissing everyone.
He kisses Nora at midnight.
Well,
and Henry gets jealous because he thought they had a thing. Yeah. Alex still doesn't realize he likes men. Yeah. Especially Henry.
And then Henry kisses him, and Alex is like, whoa, let's talk about this. And Henry was like, no.
He ran, like, physically ran.
He had to drag
back
Pez
to London.
to come back, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's I think the funny thing is, like, Pez was at the party, and then they both left out of nowhere. Also, the fact that, like, Henry just left a party to go outside because he was jealous at the White House. Like, you're going into the garden at the White House when it's, like, not your place. Honestly, they're a chaotic little bunch. And then the whole, like, actual kiss conversation of, I like people, they're just, like, off the table. It was like, oh. And Alex did not pick up on it.
He was like, oh, what do you mean off the table? Everybody loves you.
Yeah. He's like, you got a ton of suitors. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And then there's this one huge critic of the book is that they have a more sexual relationship than they do a emotional bond. They have a more physical bond than they have an emotional bond. But I feel like that's in the book for a reason, because Henry is such a coward. He likes to run away from his feelings. He likes to run away from happiness because he doesn't think he can have it. And so the reason they have this physical bond is because Henry thinks that's as good as it's going to get.
Yeah. Avoid falling in, like, love and love because they think ultimately they can't be together.
Yeah.
And then it's still indulging in those feelings without really committing to it. Hookup culture.
Yep.
And it's not something to judge the book by, because that is the characters.
I also know a lot of people, especially on TikToks, like it when the books have, like, emails or, like, text messages, because it's, like, a quick read, flip the page. Yeah. You know? It's fast-paced. And this book has a lot of that. There's a ton of emails, which are honestly one of my main selling points. When I saw the email, I was like, okay, I'm going to like this book. Yeah.
I enjoyed them, and then I also enjoyed, like, the little quick, like, history excerpts we would get. Yeah. Because they're both nerds. And I enjoyed learning about
the gay
queer
kings.
history. Yeah. Eleanor Roosevelt.
And then, obviously, the emails get leaked. That's kind of like the climax of the story. Sad times.
Yeah. I think before the emails get leaked, at the Diaz house, when Alex first, like, admits he's in love with Henry, and then Henry again runs away. Poor guy.
Henry.
Aw. But they had loads of
running away.
They had loads of cute moments together, and it was
I did like their banter. Their banter was
10
fun. Out of 10.
Yeah, they're funny, and I appreciated it. Yeah, a little rom-com, and then the story broke.
He runs away
again.
He avoids Alex. He
and then Alex shows up in London
after a huge freak out. Yeah.
Henry has a whole thing of, like, running away, and then Alex has a whole thing of, like, going to him. Aww. Yeah. It's cute.
So he shows up, and he's knocking on the door, and he's like, I swear to God, Henry, if you don't come down, I'm going to break into the castle. I don't know where he was going with that, but it worked.
It did work.
And he was like, what do you want?
Yeah. And the royal family sucked, except Mom and B. Yeah. Basically just Philip. Philip sucks. The Queen was not great. And Philip being a jerk was not okay. We do not support Philip.
Philip, you suck.
Yeah. Shout out to Philip.
No, we're not shouting him out. That's the entire point.
Calling you out.
He's a homophobic jerk, and he needs to get over his need for, what is it called? Affirmation from his mom? Or his grandma?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he kind of did it because he was like, the Queen said so.
Yeah. And, like, he had the whole pressure of, like, the family's reputation on his back. And he pushed that on to Henry when, like, Henry wasn't going to become king.
I also like how Henry didn't really forgive him.
Mm-mm.
Because you don't have to forgive him. He was a jerk. I liked that part.
Mm-hmm. And then when the emails are leaked, they get a bunch of support from everybody, which is one of the main selling points that Princess Catherine uses to allow them to continue their relationship. And that is when we get the quote, "History, huh?" as a statement quote. Because when you read it in the emails, like I read this copy, and the cover. Oh, Maya! It's okay.
You're not gonna pick it up?
I am gonna pick it up.
Here, look.
But it's history, huh? Bet we can make some. And when you first read it, it doesn't mean much. And so, I knew it was supposed to be a big quote.
It's, cute, but it's not.
But I didn't see it as anything better than, the rest of the quotes in the book. But then when the community starts to rally around that quote, it meant so much. And I was like, aw.
It kind of reminded me of the "What Has Hector Ever Done to Me?"
Yes.
In the Song of Achilles, the way it molds into this very meaningful thing.
That's a good comparison, yeah. And then, loved that quote. And you would think, if there's a quote so great as that one, it has to have a good ending quote. It didn't.
It just kind of ended.
Yeah, there was no big monumental ending. The last sentence of Henry's chapter
was so much better.
Yeah.
It was, because in the original book, they're just
they open
at the door and they're like, oh, okay, we're home or whatever. Mm-hmm. But the end of Henry's chapter, it says,
so basically they move in to a new house, and Henry says Alex says Henry, you and me, Alex says, you and me, Henry agrees. Aww.
See, that's so much better.
So much better. Still not history, huh?
Yeah, that's true.
It is a lot better.
You and me. Mm-hmm. You and me. And you. And me.
Henry's bonus chapter. Let's talk about that. We already talked, who does B marry? June and Nora got together. Yay. And then,
how do they make money?
They have jobs.
Okay, Alex is a lawyer.
He got his law degree.
I get,
and then
his
he was
mom's
a lawyer.
The president and Henry, but
and then
Henry abdicates.
Yeah.
Who is financially supporting them?
I assume they make money somehow, and we just don't understand the economics of it all.
Henry's whole thing is charity.
Yeah.
Non-profit organization.
I don't know.
Alex's thing is, I'm going to be a lawyer, and I'm going to do politics. Oh, never mind. I don't want to do that.
Well, he said no to law. That doesn't mean he didn't go back and do politics.
Yeah. He was like, I don't like big law.
I assume he became a politician.
Yeah. That's fair to assume.
Yeah.
I agree.
But we don't really know. We don't know.
Sorry, that was really loud.
Go.
There's the movie coming out. Oh, and they live in, it's the living in Texas. They moved to Texas.
Woo! And there's going to be a movie.
Yeah, I did not know this, but they cast one of the guys, it's Henry, is the guy from Purple Hearts, which we didn't enjoy very much. Don't hate us, but I especially didn't like how it was this girl with very liberal views and opinions, and then this Republican who was low-key homophobic and racist. Low-key.
I don't really remember.
He was very problematic.
I liked him more than I did the gal.
Really?
So I have hope for Prince Henry.
I didn't like them either. I didn't like either of them. And I especially didn't like them as a relationship.
Yeah, no.
I hated their relationship, and I didn't like them.
Honestly, I don't know if I've ever been this nervous for a movie adaptation.
Yeah, I'm very scared they're gonna ruin it.
Yes. But I have low expectations so that the end product will blow them out of the waters, right? I really want the turkey seed.
Oh, yeah.
That's the one want I want.
The one I want?
That's the one scene that I want to see.
I feel like that would be good as a movie scene.
Yeah.
And even if the entire adaptation is bad, if they have that one turkey scene, I'll be satisfied. And it's like pulled off well.
That's so valid.
It's like pulled off well.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also scared because I'm scared they're not going to live up to what I have in my mind.
Yeah.
Like the image.
Yeah.
And I'm especially scared for Henry. Because I don't like that actor that much. But we'll see, I'm sorry.
I have no problems with the actor. I would just like to see him in something other than Purple Hearts. And I hope they do the book justice. I'm excited. Honestly, I'm excited.
I'm scared.
And if it all ends poorly, we still have the book. Anyway, we're going to move on to a segment we do called Meet the Quota. And so this is where we say our favorite quotes from the book. This took me a really long time to find a quote for.
Really?
Yes. But I settled on, God, I want to fight everyone who's ever hurt you. But it was me too, wasn't it? All that time?
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a
Yeah.
good one. Besides history, because obviously, so much meaning, I really liked, but the truth is also simply this, love is indomitable.
Aww.
Overarching ideals, I love it.
There were a lot of good, sweet quotes, romantic quotes, because it is a love story.
For sure.
It's a very quotable book, and it was hard. It was hard to decide.
Yeah.
Now, moving on to another segment we do. Playlist for the pages.
We were a little off. It's okay.
So in this segment, we choose a song overall that we think represents the book, and then we choose one individually, because what goes along with books better than music?
We did warn you that there's going to be a lot of Taylor Swift, especially in this podcast, because it's Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
So our overall arching song is Miss Americana and the Heartbreak Prince.
Yeah.
And Maya actually kind of told me about this one. Like, I knew the song, obviously, but I hadn't related the two.
There are a lot of good songs on Lover that fit Alex and Henry. And then you have our little Miss Americana, Alex, and the Heartbreak Prince, Henry.
Obviously. It was so obvious.
Yeah.
It's my favorite song now.
Yeah.
Because every time I listen to it, I think of them.
Yeah.
And it just makes me so giddy.
See, I had a similar situation. I am really not a boy band person, but the song I chose was History by One Direction. And I love that song so much now because it reminds me of them. Yeah, it's giving history, and I love it. I love it.
I do love it. And then mine was New Romantics by Taylor Swift. And I think it's just because it's so happy and kind of like up, and I don't know, it's really good.
Yeah.
I think of them every time.
There are a lot of Taylor Swift songs that fit their relationship, but also a lot of the Sour album by Olivia Rodrigo. So, honorable mentions right there. And so, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the negative reviews and kind of what we've heard through Goodreads reviews, TikTok, and maybe some things we had issues with, and that were that made it hard for us to, like, read.
Yeah.
One of the issues that people brought up was politics kind of being shoved down your throat when you're just trying to read a cute queer romance novel. And I get that, but I really enjoyed the politics.
It gave me a lot of hope, like, especially since we live in Texas, and it's such this hard Republican state, and it's never shown, like, any will to change. It gave me kind of this hope that maybe it wasn't more of the people, but the gerrymandering.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, it gave me hope that maybe one day we'll have a female president, and I did
Yeah.
cry when that happened.
I cried when they won Texas. And, well, I mean, that won the election for them.
Yeah.
But I cried mostly because they won Texas. Because, again, like, I have lived in Texas for all but 2 years of my life. And I moved to Missouri, like, the end of 4th grade for 2 years. And when I was moving back to Texas, I had this, like, huge love for the state because I had missed it so much. And, like, I grew up really enjoying Tejano music, Selena. I really enjoyed just Texas as a whole. And as kind of the years have gone on, and I've gotten more invested in, like, politics and the social and political situation in Texas, I've lost a lot of that love for Texas just because it's hard to see everything.
Hard to see the good.
It's hard to see the good every once in a while. And this book helped me see that good and believe that it's possible. And I really enjoyed the hope that it gave me. And I would like to believe that's possible.
Me too.
Yeah. And then
I'm trying to think. Oh, there was someone who said Alex had no personality. Am I mixing stuff up, or is that... I think that's... I don't know.
Alex definitely did have a personality, though. Alex and Henry.
If there were any complaints about the main characters not having any personality, like, I think there are, maybe it was a different book, but you're just wrong. Okay, I'm sorry. It's very vivid in there.
Yeah. I think another big complaint I heard... Also, this was a debut novel.
Oh, yeah.
I think.
Wait.
Yeah. I believe so.
Let me...
Yes. I'm pretty confident in that. This was a debut novel, so for being a debut novel, it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that I constantly read was, like, Europeans being upset with it, and because it is a very American perspective, because it's written in Alex's perspective. And as an American, and as someone who, like, kind of sees Europeans the same way,
yeah,
it is written to the extent that you would expect it to be written from Alex's perspective, but I get that it might not be for European audiences due to that fact.
Yes, and I think if the entire book was in Henry's perspective, Americans would have the same problem. Yeah. And Henry would just be like, oh, America, fat people, cheeseburgers, big drinks, and then we'd kind of be bored of it.
Especially because it is from Alex's perspective.
Yeah.
And you know at the beginning of the book, like, Alex hates Henry. Alex has this disdain for the royal family. Like, so it's written that way because that's the character, and that's getting into the character's mindset.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely can see where European people would have
complaints.
Complaints and a problem getting through it and be annoyed with Alex. So yeah. But overall, 10 out of 10, I really, really, really appreciated the representation and the hope it gave me for the future. Happy. It made me really happy. It's a good read.
Check it out.
Yeah.
If you haven't, even though we've already covered spoilers.
Yeah.
So
maybe now you're just really encouraged to go hear what we were talking about. Maybe get the references. And if you enjoyed it, comment below. Because also, we would just like to hear your opinions.
If you have any recommendations, because I've seen many TikToks that are like, if you enjoyed this novel, watch it or read this. So if you guys want us to cover anything, please
tell us. Yeah. Thanks for listening to this episode of After the Epilogue. Check out After the Epilogue podcast on Instagram and After Epilogue MM on Twitter. And check out her TikTok for updates. We'll have them all typed out for updates and behind the scenes on all of those 3 socials. After the Epilogue is hosted and produced by Madeline Glenn and Maya Ortiz. Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.